me get. Hey, everybody. Hello from the Capitol. You're all doing well. I am here at the Capitol, and I'm going to be walking the protest right behind me. And we are going to be talking to people. We're going to be having just real shake your hand kind of conversations with these folks. And we're going to be asking them, hey, why are you here? I see some upside down American flags out here. I'm going to ask them, why is your flag upside down? What is the crisis to you? What does it look like? And we're going to go live and we're just going to see what we do. So it's going to be super, super fun. Hope you guys will enjoy watching. If you're watching right now and you think it'd be good to share this video, go ahead and share this video because I'd really, really like to get this across the state as we have a real conversation. By the way, a lot of these folks, they are Wyomingites, just like all of us are, whether you're on the right, the left, or the center. We all live in this state, or most of us do. Some of these folks probably don't, but that's okay. We're going to go talk to them. So with that, I'm going to switch my camera around, and we're going to go talk to people. All right, there we go. All right, hey, everybody. So it's great to be here at the Capitol. We are going to walk over here to the No Kings protest, and we're going to have some conversations with these folks. We're going to ask them, hey, why are you here? What are you concerned about? Today is about civil conversations. It's not about getting in a fist fight. It's about really trying to listen to the other side, if you will. Now, obviously, I could be across the street with the MAGA folks, with the Make America Great Again folks, but I'm not choosing that because I want to be over here and I want to talk to these folks over here, and I want them to I want to understand where they're coming from. And so hopefully you guys will enjoy watching this video and sharing it. And we're going to go ahead and head over here and we're going to start talking to some people. And I'm hoping you can hear me okay. As usual, when you want to do something like this, my microphones decide not to work today. So here we are. We're going to try to do this live and be loud enough that you can hear us. And we're going to talk to some of these folks and see what it is that they're concerned about. Get around, show everybody what we got going on. It's nice and loud. Hi, how you doing today? My name's Joseph. I'm running for governor, and I would love to hear what you have to say. Yeah. Tell me about what's going on today. Tell me about what are the things that you're worried about. I know today's No King Day, right? It's also Flag Day. We're also celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Army, right?
Right.
We're doing that as well. What is it what is the core issue that you guys are out here for that you guys are concerned about?
Our main issue between me and my family is the fact that you guys are deporting immigrants.
Sure.
And they're here legally. Most of them are here on work visas or something like that. You're taking them
Yeah. Do you have any actual references or factual basis for where that's actually happening and how that's happening?
It's occurring a lot. You can look on .org websites.
Sure.
All the organizations, some of the government websites as well, except some of those are being, purged and hidden because of Donald Trump,
Sure.
president. But you can disagree if you'd like.
That's
fine.
You know that we have.
I personally have met someone who has been deported without. They have rights.
Yeah. Their rights aren't protected under the Constitution. We understand that, right?
But he was here legally.
Yeah.
So he does have
Those
rights.
people are going to come back. Those people, if those issues are happening, those things will get sorted out before the law. Because you're right. If they're here legally, they'll get back here legally. But here's my question for you. What do we do? What is the right way for us to approach 650,000 criminals that have come into this country? You can also look that up on government websites. 650,000 criminals. How do you suggest we get
Prove
those?
It first. Prove it first.
It's factual.
It's not factual. It's just a bunch of bullshit out on the internet, and you fall for it. You fall for it. You're a sucker for the internet.
Okay. That's fine. So how would you suggest dealing with this issue of immigration? You have a city like Los Angeles where there's 1 million people that have come there and they're not leaving.
Right.
How would you suggest dealing with these folks? Because it affects society. It has an impact, right? Medical systems, educational systems, things like that. How would you suggest approaching the problem or fixing the problem? What's your answer for it?
Well, I hope you realize that, Los Angeles is Mexico. It was Mexico before it became a part of the United States.
Oh, I understand that, but that was 250. That was a long time ago.
So a lot of the people that are there now were already there. when the USA decided to take it over.
So when U.S. took over when we actually bought that from Mexico, by the way, we didn't take it over. In addition to that, those people were naturalized. They were not made as they were not
But
made.
like I said, we're a part of Mexico, right? Which means they are literally the Los Angeles area is their territory. California was a part of Mexico before you guys bought it off of them.
Mhm.
Therefore,
Yeah.
what I'm told that are there, it is their land that you took from them.
So you think it's actually okay for them to invade Southern California?
No one is illegal Southern California. Sir, for your family and for your ancestors, because mine sure were.
Oh, all of us were.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We all were.
So where do you draw the line then? Where do you draw the line then with criminals? Here, I'll back up, sir.
A, they're not criminals.
It's a civil suit.
Yeah, it's not.
There's 650,000 illegals in this country right now that have criminal records. You can look on the DOJ's website for that. That's not Trump.
You
That's not
also
illegal.
call them all criminals. So that's your own speech.
Oh, I know. No, absolutely not. They are not all criminals.
No,
I know.
absolutely not.
So how would you suggest that ICE? How would you suggest that ICE deals with the criminal element? I'm not talking about.
I say not the way to do it.
So how do we do it? How do we do it?
I
How
got
do
an
we
idea.
I love it. Yeah, what's your idea?
If you see her walking down the if I see her walking down the road and they see me, who do you think they're gonna go for? Her or me? Because the color of my skin.
Seriously, coming up to the brown people and just harassing the brown women.
Just by the color of their skin and just for the fact that they speak Spanish.
And not giving
And
Exactly.
ISIS for racist pigs.
I look different. That doesn't mean I'm here illegally because that is
So-
a bunch of bullshit.
I have a suggestion for you. I have a suggestion for you. Biden had a bill. Everybody was going to pass the bill. Actually, there was also a bill during the Bush administration. Also, if you care about statistics, like you said, 4.4 million people were deported under
Obama.
and 3.3. And ICE wasn't in the streets,
Well-
were they? So let's go back to that, sir. There's a way to do it.
Most of those.
We know that these people.
You know that.
They're against us.
You know that most of those deportations during the Obama administration were done without due process.
People that work on immigration judges and all of that. So you saying things
Most of those were done without due process.
true. You saying things doesn't make them true. Was ICE on the street dragging citizens off the street? Were they going to elementary schools? Were they profiling people because they were breaking into homes, breaking into schools, breaking into buildings? You know, this guy's already over here bugging you because you're brown women. So, you know, sir, if you really care about this, why don't you get off bothering the brown ladies? And, you know, go talk to somebody else. Go talk to white people and white dudes, you know, or whatever. But
It's funny, you know, you're actually the only person that has mentioned anything about race right now. I haven't
you're
mentioned
just,
anything
I mean,
about
I
race.
know you haven't mentioned it, but it's very interesting who you're going up to and thinking that they have to explain to you what right they have to be in this country. What right these people have to be here. So your family that came over, my family came over, you know, the idea that we all came over here legally, quote unquote, is belonging. We didn't even have these immigration laws at the time. So we also have full immigration. They are going if they are going into immigration court, DOJ is telling them dismiss the cases and arresting them immediately. Awful people in this country. And the reason I know that is because that is actually happening. If you are an attorney or work in this field, you know exactly what's happening. And they are going in and telling people, dismiss the cases, arresting them immediately. They are literally also lawful people in the country lawfully are taking their paperwork. They're also just going up to citizens just because they're brown. How many brown people have they thrown in the back of wagons? How many brown people are doing these things to? Also, sir, what do you think about sending these people to a third world country torture prison? You think that's lawful?
Oh, yeah. That, actually, I have an
sending
opinion
that?
on that. I've traveled the world. I've done mission trips and multiple third
Have you
world.
been to the torture prison where people never get out?
I've been in a prison. Yeah.
CCOT? Have you been to CCOT?
I have been to a maximum security prison in Sonora, Mexico. On a
Okay,
mission,
is
on a
that
mission
El
trip.
Salvador? She's asking about El Salvador.
Yeah. have not been to El Salvador.
And you understand it's called, it definitely a torture
Hey,
prison. Once you're
I
there, you don't
completely-
get out.
in
You
my-
don't get out.
okay.
If you think, do you think people, do you think the American Constitution allows America not to deport people to the countries from they're from, but to send them off to Libya, to send them off to Yemen, to send them off to a torture prison in El Salvador? Do you think that's constitutional?
First of all, I would
Can you defend that?
I could never defend that, and
Okay,
nor
good.
would
We're on
I.
the same page.
How-
We don't think
however-
people should be sent to torture
Let,
prisons.
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. In the work that I have done myself around the world, I understand why people want to come to America. Okay, I get it.
They don't now.
I get it. I get it.
President Trump
Oh, they
makes it. They
still
don't
do.
want to.
They still do want to come here. I
And
get
none
it.
of us want to leave.
So I have one question though.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
What made you decide to approach us?
Actually,
So many people here.
strategically, I decided to come to the back of the crowd, and then I will work my way around. And the reason for that is the noise. I wanted to be able to communicate and talk to you guys and
put
see you
this
guys.
on the video of you.
Yeah.
Hey, this is great. You talking to some brown people, making them brown ladies. So it's
Again,
I've been in 3 different countries, and every single one of them is very word. Japan,
have you heard the things that other
Costa
countries are
Rica,
saying
and
about
they're-
the United States?
all 3 of those countries, people just come up to you and they find out you're from the States. They're scared.
What are they worried about?
This is history.
In what way?
Really, Germany, they quite literally think this is the next Nazi. They absolutely do. And it's on the news every day. A country that they're not even from, and it shouldn't be on our local news. We're on their news every day.
Yeah, we're on the news around the world all day, every day now. We are. You're absolutely correct about that. I noticed the upside down flag, and we all understand what that means, right? That we're a country in crisis. Or you see that we're a country in crisis. So I'm coming over here to wonder what is the crisis that we're worried about?
We're sending people to torture prisons. We're violating the Constitution.
Is immigration the main issue out here today?
Women's rights.
Right?
So if Congress is more regulated than guns, then I think men should not be able to spill their seed. You should be thrown in jail.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Because
Yeah.
if I should be aborting an unwanted pregnancy, then men shouldn't be having sex.
You know, you and I are obviously never going to agree on a pro-life issue. I understand, but I'm out to shake your hands and listen. I want to hear what you guys have to say. That is
Cut
why.
this. You're going to edit
You
this
know what?
where you want, but
Actually-
on whatever website you want to put it on.
Actually, ma'am, it's actually unedited.
And what website is this going on? Huh? Where's it going?
It's actually live stream.
It's live streaming. Is it?
Yeah,
It's what website? What Facebook page?
It's on my Facebook page,
And
on X,
What is your Facebook page? Oh, and it's on X, huh?
X
Okay,
and
yeah,
YouTube,
X, yeah.
and YouTube as well.
Great, that's great.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know,
This isn't
I
going to be
think
edited.
you know what this protest is about, right? It's called
No king, absolutely.
What do you think about this? So we agree that America, it's unconstitutional for our government to send people to torture prisons and to quote unquote deport people to third countries. You agree with that?
This is where they came from, and it's where they need to go back to. Yes, absolutely.
It's not deportation.
We
So
should-
we agree on that.
Absolutely.
So Trump is doing that every day of the week now. And so I guess you're going to tell your viewers that you're opposed to that. You're on our side. You're protesting
I'm
that
not.
Trump is violating the Constitution.
I will tell you this, and I have no problem saying this on public forum, because I'm a very balanced guy. I want to hear all. I want to hear all the voices.
I think that's great that you
I don't-
yourself consider yourself balanced.
I am not Trump's biggest fan. There are some things that I like that he does.
Which things
But
do you like?
there's no
Which
leaders.
things do you like, sir?
Oh yeah, no, that's a wonderful question. I
Which
do
things
like
do you like?
I do like the rounding up of criminals. I think that's a great
And
idea.
you think the people he's rounding up are criminals?
I'm not-
Do you
ma'am,
know
I'm
the
not-
percentage of people that got sent off to
I'm-
CCOT?
Ma'am,
sorry.
I'm not involved in that aspect of it.
Well,
But if we have
it's
650,000
It's
criminals in
interesting.
this country,
it's interesting. The people that he rounded up and sent to the torture prison, they actually know what statistics number of those people were criminals.
sure.
And it was far less than.
Sure.
I think it was something like 23% had any criminal record, even something
Yeah.
like traffic.
Yeah.
So okay, so you like that he's rounding up criminals, except, sir, in fact, he's not rounding up criminals.
Yeah.
He's going to it unless you, like so many, want to say that everyone in this country that is here is a criminal. And so that is in truth under the law. It's not a criminal violation.
You do know that.
Who do you think are criminals that you say that you're so proud of Trump for rounding up the criminals?
You do know that by definition, if you are in this country not legally, that is a crime.
No, it is not. If you are
Yeah.
here undocumented, the way that people get here
I have a question
undocumented
for you.
is civil.
Could you all go to Mexico and do what you're doing right now and not just get thrown in jail and the keys thrown away? No, you could not.
Yes, you can. In Mexico City.
I have.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
I
you
have.
can
I've been to Mexico.
Mexico City.
I've been to Mexico over 50 times.
But also, sir, how is that relevant? We are Americans in America with our Constitution. So you want it to be erased to the bottom? So as bad as other countries are, you think that's the level that Americans should think to?
No,
Just period. That's right. That's right. No, absolutely not. We have a Constitution.
There is a
that binds
reason
us.
that most countries in the world would not allow this kind of immigration.
First of all, you don't know what kind of immigration is happening. You think you do. You think
I do
something is
actually,
criminal.
believe it or not. I'm
You
actually
think
from
that
Southern
something
California.
is criminal that is not.
I'm from
There's
Southern
civil
California.
violations. There are not everything is criminal. So you don't even know the law. You know, you think you do.
Fair enough.
You want to say you're balanced. You like the way that Trump is quote unquote rounding up criminals. Although it's very clear that he's not rounding up just criminals, he's actually rounding up American citizens. Do you think so? This is where we differ. If he accidentally rounds up some, let's just say they happen to be brown citizens, and throws them in detention.
I would never be okay with that.
Okay, he's doing it right now.
Put it on the record.
He's doing it right now.
Put it on the record. I would never be okay with that.
Good, good. Go tell your friends across the
How you
street.
doing? Hey, how's it going?
Go tell your friends across the street.
Nate, I'm running for governor. Oh no, why are you out here today? Yeah, yeah. What do you think about all this?
Trump's like kind of small. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we do live in a state that voted 80% for Trump, so they're probably not too horribly worried about this protest down here today.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? But I came out here because, and I'm over here. You notice that I'm a conservative, obviously, but I'm over here for a reason. I want to understand what's going on over here. I want to know. I want to know why and what we're upset about. You know, so I'm over here to have some conversation.
I agree with you. So,
Oh, you're over here hanging out too.
yeah, I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't. The one thing that I don't like is that all the good people, all the good guys that came that wanted to do it right, are getting screwed.
Yeah, well,
That's unfortunate.
well, and I'll be honest. And again, I'm going to say this. You know, you've heard about the Trump card, right? Well, for $5 million, you can get to the front of the line for citizenship. You know what? Hi, Wyoming. I'm not okay with this kind of stuff because that's not a fair and equal system. And what are you doing? You're taking the best and the brightest out of those other countries, and you're bringing them here. And what are you doing to their country? So I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, everything is perfect on the right, because it's not. In fact, I'm going to be hardest on my own party. As I'm running for governor, my party is going to be the one I'm going to be the hardest on, because it's not okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
So so I got $5 million, so I can become a U.S. citizen. You know what? That is kind of king-like. You know, you're probably watching here going, "Wow, is this guy really a conservative?" But let's be honest.
I was wondering about that.
But let's be honest. That is king-like, right? That's not the system that our forefathers imagined for immigration,
Yeah.
or the Bill of Rights laid out, or that the Constitution lays out.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to have those conversations.
See, I'm from Arizona. I just moved here in July, and I worked.
Thanks for coming by. Yeah.
I worked with a lot of legal and legals, and
All right, your turn, Corey.
yes,
Yeah, cool. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it, buddy.
a lot of legals and illegals, and the ones that are legal. So we care.
Well, right, because
They're pissed.
they're
Yeah.
the legal immigrants and the ability to legally immigrate. The system is overwhelmed by the illegal immigration. So these folks that are trying to do it the right way are being harmed and not able to do it the right way.
Yeah,
I'm going to wander around a bit more. What was your name again?
Nate.
Nate, it's a pleasure meeting you. Take care. Hi, how are you? I'm Joseph. Oh, what's that?
What's your name?
Jason.
Jason.
Joseph. I'm Governor, you shit. How are you? Yeah, and I'm out here. I just want to hear from you guys. I want to hear why you're here. What are you worried about? What are your concerns? I really am. This is a genuine question. I'm not out here campaigning, but I'm out here asking. So,
Trying to find out.
tell me about what you're worried about.
I'm I'm worried about democracy. I'm worried about this country.
Okay.
I'm worried, sure about myself, but there are people who are being affected more than me,
Sure.
and I feel like they need my support, my representation, my
Right.
being here.
So my mic is not working. So if you could come a little bit closer, just so that they can hear me. Mic's over here. That's good. So, okay. So, what part of democracy do you feel is at risk right now? Because you got to understand, first of all, that we're a constitutional republic, right? We're not a democracy, so that's kind of different. Number two, I see a lot of signs out here saying fascism.
Yeah.
We know fascism is the opposite of democracy, but it's this idea that the government supports the whole and not individual rights, right?
Yeah.
So we're worried about individual rights. That's what
Yes.
that's what all of you guys are out here about, right?
Yeah.
So what do you feel about individual rights is being infringed? Like for you, or for people you know. It doesn't have to be you.
Sorry, I'm hard being on the spot.
Yeah, no,
Questions.
that's okay. It's okay.
Um,
What individual right? Because this is kind of the crux. This is why I'm willing to come out here and have these conversations. Is we talk about a king, right? We talk about individual rights being infringed upon, but I really want to know from the people of Wyoming. I'm running for governor to be your governor if you live here and you're a citizen. What rights do you feel are being infringed?
well, public speaking for one.
Okay.
The right, um, the military should never be used against citizens. And granted, it's not happening here,
Okay.
but I don't want it to happen here. I don't want it to happen elsewhere
Right.
in the country. And that's one.
Okay. You know,
It's a way to silence us.
there is historical precedence for mobilizing the National Guard,
Yeah.
for mobilizing some of the military during civil unrest.
Yeah.
There is some historical precedence for that.
There is.
We're obviously all not in LA. Now, I'm actually from Southern California, so LA is part of my stomping ground. So I kind of understand a little bit about that dynamic there.
Yeah.
So I can be sympathetic to that. LA County has about 1 million illegal immigrants right now. Okay, that's what they have now. Imagine what that's doing to their culture and their society.
Changing things a bit.
Changing things. And I'm gonna be. I do not. I've been around. I've done a lot of mission trips around the world, growing up and in my early 20s, stuff like that. I don't blame people for wanting to come here. This place it's great. You can do this, and feel and be safe. I mean, you're relatively safe, right?
Yeah.
I can come out here and talk to you, and I'm not super freaked out, right? Like, so we have those freedoms, we have those opportunities to do that. So sometimes we have to do that. Today I know where a lot of us are upset. Today is Trump's birthday, right? It's also Flag Day. It's also the 250th anniversary of the Army, right? The U.S. Army.
When I was in basic, I was in basic during 2008's celebration of this day for the Army. So it was very nice.
Trump didn't pick his birthday, all right?
Right.
I think we ought to celebrate our oldest branch of military in some way.
Yeah.
And we ought to have a 250-year celebration. He didn't pick his birthday to be today. I understand. It's like, well, gee, it's his birthday. It's this. Right? I don't think his parents said, well, he's going to be president in 70 years. We didn't know that, right?
Right.
Like, we didn't know that. But I think we should celebrate. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think it's normal for a democracy to do a military parade like that?
Historically, it actually is across the world. Now, most of our military parades have happened after a war, right? So
It's okay if you don't go nice.
Oh no, oh yeah. Like after, yeah, if they don't, that's fine. It's fine. After a war, typically we would have a military parade. Our last legitimate military parade was after the Gulf War. That was over, and so that we celebrated. That's the tradition.
So when's the last time we won a war?
Well, so just so you know, we actually haven't declared war in about 30 years. But you can imagine what we are doing. We're fighting proxy wars around the world, right? We know that. We're funding this, we're funding that. We're fighting proxy wars. But today is the 250th anniversary, and whether you love our military or not, today is the 250th anniversary of the Army, our oldest branch of military service. Sounds like you were in the service a little bit too. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. For us to celebrate it, and this is a relatively small parade, comparatively speaking. And yes, it happens to be Trump's birthday. And yes, it happens to be Flag Day. In 2 years, we're going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our flag. Right? In 27, that would be the 250th anniversary of our flag. So, and then of course, next year is the 250th anniversary of the country. So, regardless of who's president, I think we ought to be able to celebrate that, right? Yeah, yeah. By the way, I'm Joseph. I'm actually running for governor. Are you a voter in Wyoming?
I'm voting for non-Wyoming.
Okay. All right. Where are you visiting from?
Tennessee.
Wow, you're away from home. And just for this?
No, I came to see a friend. I would have gone to.
Oh, sure. All right. Oh, good. Well, while you stay here, I really hope you enjoy Wyoming.
I love Wyoming.
Have a good time.
My second time.
I like it here. Yeah, yeah. Any other questions for me that I can answer for you?
Might come up with one later and come find you.
I'm gonna wander around until this thing's over in about like an hour or so. So, yeah, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me. Nice to meet you. Take care. Hi guys, my name's Joseph. I'm actually running for governor next year. I would like to get. Why are you out here? What is going on? What's the story?
We need somebody running this Democrat.
Oh, is that what you need? Well, I probably can't help you with that, but I really do want to understand. It's no King Day. That's what you guys are out here for?
No. I'm here for Flag Day.
You're here for Flag Day. Okay, cool. So what are we out here protesting for the most part? Yeah, yeah. I want to hear.
Uh, I'm very disappointed in our administration, including our state.
Uh, what are your primary? Yeah, yeah.
They're the methods that they're using. I have no problem.
I think we can agree on that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I do have a view. With the wind blowing about reckless.
Yeah. Well, somehow we were able to, get rid of 4 million during the Obama administration and 3 million during the Biden administration and not have war on the streets, right? How do you suggest, though, how do we actively go after criminals without knocking on doors? Like, I think that's my question, because that's what ICE is doing. They're knocking on doors.
I don't work for them.
Yeah, neither do I. Neither do I. Yeah.
So that's their thing to figure out.
Yeah. Gotcha. So is this the main issue for you today? Huh? It's the main issue for you today. The immigration stuff.
No,
okay.
Policy.
Okay.
Tariffs everywhere.
Yeah.
It's all black money. I don't want that.
You don't think
People.
Yeah. You know that every country tariffs us higher than we tariff them, right? That's a great question. I like that, but that's what's created our trade deficit. That's why our goods have gotten so expensive. Like, you see what I mean? So you have, let's say, for instance, China tariffs our goods at 100%, but we've been only tariffing them at 10%. What's going to work for them? Well, we'll see who wins that war. The tariffs that Trump has set forth is about 1/3 of the tariff on the receiving country. You realize that? That's what he's talking about when we sit with people. It's because India charges 150% for our goods, but we only charge India 50%. So we raise that to 30% to at least get a little bit more out of India. By the way, those aren't exact numbers. Don't quote me on those. But the idea of change daily. Yeah, I know. So not really Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Well, he's pointing at me.
I'm on him.
He's pointing at me. Okay. Have a blessed day. All right. Yeah, take care. Hi. No? Okay. Okay. Here, we'll walk this way where it's a little less loud, and we'll talk to folks. Hi, gentlemen. Hi. I'm Joseph. I'm actually running for governor next year. What are you guys doing out here? Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Tell me about why you're here and Trump's a dictator, and tell me about why you're out here to support this movement, this protest.
Well, I just can't believe how America's changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even this state
Yeah.
used to be in the 50s and 60s, Democrats and Republicans with alternate, in power, and it wasn't that much different from the parties.
Well, yeah, and actually, that's why I'm over here. I'm not over there because I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what's going on over here.
We're just common people. We're not.
Yeah, I am too. I'm a regular dude running for governor, and that's why I'm over here. Yes, I'm a conservative. Do you think there's any problem with the way our Constitution?
Well, I'm a registered Republican just because I figured my only vote is.
Yeah, the Wyoming Constitution or U.S. Constitution?
So, what's your name?
My name is Joseph.
Okay.
It's nice to meet you. In regards like free speech, for instance, or immigration, or property rights, or
habeas corpus,
okay,
like that.
justice.
Locking up people who are legally but have brown skin.
I would like to think and hope that they're going to get their justice, that they're going to get their due process. By the way, I'm not responsible for that. I have no issue saying right here, I don't agree with locking up citizens. That shouldn't be happening.
If you're a governor,
if it is,
would you write a nasty grant to the president and say, I don't agree with this?
If I need to, I will.
And if you didn't need to, would you?
Like, I don't know. I mean, Trump will still be president if I become governor.
Yeah.
We'll be having those hard conversations with the federal government.
Yeah.
You know what? The reason I am over here is because I'm really not happy with either party. I think they've done all of the people injustice. Your service injustice. Yes, I've always been a conservative Republican, but I'm not super thrilled with my party.
I think it's okay to translate off more veterans than any other single group.
No, and so I'm not involved in that process.
But I don't even know where you stand.
Right.
It's RVA.
Yeah.
I gotta go back over there. I'm a nurse, and I haven't had one party completely try to gut our system.
Right.
So
Right.
you can be upset with you can say I don't love everything my party does, but I haven't seen the Democrats try to gut us or rip the rug out from under us.
Yeah.
And that's not okay.
Yeah. Well, we did get rid of 300,000 federal workers from the Clinton admin, right?
I think it's more precision.
Yeah, this is more like a.
They get a people.
The main thing is it's a different tool. I mean,
Yeah, is it true? I think that waste is astronomical. It's not so bad here in Wyoming. In the federal government, I call it the golden toilet syndrome. And you can even look at Wyoming's book. And in Wyoming's book, it's like, you pay 50 grand for this tow? Wait a minute. Who's this tow person? Who's this person connected to? Vehicle. Right? This golden toilet syndrome that government has. So we need to look at this. We need to audit this and honor it. But also, we need to do that so that we can actually go back and circle back to the VA and put that money back into the VA. We're spending so much money on people that don't belong here. It's $17,000 to deport a person, right? Our kids will pick this up. Our teenagers will. I don't have teenagers yet. Yeah, you got it. So illegals do account for about 4% of our workforce right now. No, in the whole U.S. In the whole U.S. Yeah, it probably is. It probably is, but there are legal folks that do it. Yeah.
You're legal.
But we've also got 15 million Americans looking for jobs right now. I think they would. A lot of times it's a pay, right? A lot of times they don't pay enough. And so why am I going to do this? These folks that are here, they're living 15 people to a house. They could do some of that stuff. But it's disenfranchising those folks. Did you fight for them? I mean, I'm asking you a serious question. Like, did you fight for these folks that have come here and they're using all of our services and not contributing to our society?
They pay social security. You don't get majority of our contribute.
Yeah, they contribute about $800 billion a year to the GDP.
And they do
right.
that, that's why I think our jobs went overseas, because Americans didn't want to do the jobs.
Yeah.
And
and it's expensive to hire.
And there's jobs that I don't think Americans will do.
Oh, I appreciate that. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I mean, we know that immigration is down. So what is your answer then? So how do we bridge this gap? What's the answer? How do we fix it?
Well, I think due process.
Due process. Okay.
Take people and interview and see if they are. My ancestors came over from Yugoslavia.
Mine from Germany.
And they were trucked to the whole camps of Trinidad, Dawson.
Yeah.
And they lived in a hut, basically, floor. Today it is a horse.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, there are certainly injustices from the past. My family ancestry comes from 1700s from Germany. So, we know we're all immigrants, but how do we fix the current situation? This is really what I'm trying to get at today. It's overwhelming. Yeah.
Some kind of control. The world is hurting right now. That's the thing.
The world is hurting, and I agree with that. I don't disagree with that. You know that
take care of everybody.
You can't. Most of the deportation during the Biden and Obama administration, a lot of them are done without due process. They just deported them. What's different right now is we're knocking on doors. We're trying to find criminals, right? There's supposedly 650,000 criminals.
Okay.
According to the DOJ, right? This is according to the Department of Justice. There's 650,000 people that have been released into the U.S. that have some kind of criminal background in other countries. What do we do to round those guys up? Because they are killing Americans. They are hurting our fathers, our mothers, our kids. Our grandfather, our grandmother. That is happening. So how do we round them up?
So that's the main thing is I see people coming out of cars. These people are that's to me.
Yeah, and I think the media does all of us a disservice because we don't get a good picture of what's really going on most of the time. The media is part of the reason why people are so angry out here. We can't have this conversation.
I'm a Democrat.
Yeah.
If there was an alternative, I think we'd take it.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned missing the days when you and I could sit at a table, have a conversation, walk away, and go, "Hey, that was cool." No, we're not. No, we're not. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for your time. Take care. Go safe. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, here. Hi. You said I was the scared guy in the woods. How you doing? I'm Joseph.
Oh, Maddie, it's nice to meet you.
I'm actually one of the governors.
I read your comments this morning about being cowardice.
Yeah.
So I applaud you going out here and having the conversations because that's the first step you took.
That's what I said I was going to do. Yeah, that's really what I meant. So I heard you over here a whole lot talking about fascism.
Yes.
I think that's a big issue here with a lot of the fascism. So I really want to try to unpack. What do you feel is going on as fascists? How is it you can see?
Little old me comes from Nebraska, a little town called Greenland. The railroads in this town, our communities connect to each other. So it brought me here in 2020.
Oh, yeah.
I have a home here. I am a citizen of Cheyenne, Wyoming.
How's your mom? Thanks for being here with us.
Where do you
Yeah. Southern California.
Okay.
Valley of the Beach. Yeah,
Yeah, so you see it all. So,
Yeah.
I grew up with I grew up with.
If you don't want to be recorded, she can just record.
I don't mind.
Okay.
I don't mind speaking
Yeah.
the truth.
Yeah.
Testimonies are very important.
I agree.
And that's why
I agree. That's why I'm here.
our people need to come listen to all the testimonies.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's easy for you and I to have conversations in the street. It might be a little harder.
Actually, I want to tell you something. So the first folks that I went to out here were Hispanic, and I got in trouble for going to Hispanic folks to talk to them. So
Every voice here.
Yeah.
Because even though I appear white, I'm not.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
So I have this voice I can have with you right now.
Yeah.
So the fascism. I grew up in Nebraska, and we had whatever education system that they gave us.
Yeah.
And as I read in horror every generation of reading how Nazi Germany became, how immigrants came to this country, the difficulties they faced, I had my name changed over time due to this process. I deal with everyday fear of listening to friends and family and neighbors. We're scared to go outside. In your Cheyenne streets, there was a little girl who went to a doctor's appointment in my hometown of North Platte. Her mother was arrested for giving her child care. They showed up and they took her. Do you think it's safe or fair for mothers like me to have to fear taking our children for help? We're giving our children help.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because one of the biggest things that I've been surprised about as I started this journey is the sheer number of people who have talked to me about issues in the justice system and with our lives. Stuff like that. I did not expect that. I'll be honest. I thought they would be bringing up a lot of other issues to me. This has been the number one issue as I get around the state. This has been the number one issue. And I want you to know that I'm listening to them. I am listening to that. Now, you and I are not always going to agree on policy.
Absolutely.
When we think about fascism, it's this idea that you have a dictator, right?
Yep.
It's this idea that the goal is that it's about sort of this, we're removing individual liberty, right? Like, fascism is the opposite.
Instilling fear into our community.
Fascism is the opposite of democracy.
Yes.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
And of course, we're not.
And this is democracy.
And of course, you know that we're a constitutional republic, which is slightly different than democracy, but it's very similar. So when you have a situation where you're saying it's a fascist, so what I want to hear from you today is what individual rights is the Trump administration infringing upon for you?
They want to come in here and overhaul all of these immigrants that live here and have lived here and have been peaceful. They're not going after just the criminals. If they were doing that, we would tear apart our offices.
Well, listen, I would tell you that I do hope that gets sorted out. I would never be.
So what would you do to help? Would you be a voice? Would you stand up to all those men in there that are like, this benefits me. I'm white. I'm an empowered. And these people cause too many issues for me because they use our voices.
I've never run for public office.
Okay.
I have 3 kids.
This is a first.
I'm raising my family here. I brought my family here the same time you did.
Okay.
Okay. For the same reasons, by the way. Or hopefully for a
So your children, do you have sons and daughters? Do you have sons or daughters?
I have 2 daughters and a son.
Okay. How old are your daughters?
They are 4 and 8.
Okay.
And we homeschool. That's our choice.
So your 8-year-old had more rights when she was born than your 4-year-old.
They were,
because these are already under attack versus broken.
Right.
So I fight because I have 3 daughters.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
They're worth fighting for.
They are.
They are worth fighting for.
I am a mother. I have fought from the ground up. I did not come from a background besides a hairdresser and an auto mechanic.
Yeah.
So I have to fight because I don't have anyone to call home if I get arrested tonight for being peaceful. I have no one to be like, hey, come bail me out.
I don't think you will.
I won't.
I don't think you will.
I'm a very peaceful human being. I think love is what will conquer this nation.
So So I heard sort of under that
Right.
women's rights is something that you're feeling is.
We could talk.
So that's an individual. That's an individual right that you feel is anything else beyond that.
Anything beyond that. I
Because you
think
got to
medical
understand.
access
Well,
needs to be available. Dental access. When I find out this past year that medical and dental insurance totally different. Medical insurance covers
hey,
X, Y, and Z.
I got to pay for my. I work for a living. I pay for my own insurance.
Me too.
I understand. I get it. And you go in and you get dental work and it's not covered. I get it. I hear you. So I hear you on that. I'm in the same boat you are.
Yes.
I am not on the right or the left when it comes to this idea that we're these elite people.
I'm
Okay?
love.
I believe the governor should be the chief servant of the people. Now, can I make everybody on that side of the street and everybody on this side of the street happy? No.
It's never
No,
gonna
no,
happen.
you cannot do that.
You have to think of the overall.
But what we can do is what we're doing right now. Having a conversation,
Yep.
talk about it. I understand. So then what we have to do, the next step to this is now where can we find some common ground, which can happen if we take the time to have these conversations. It really, really can. And I'm glad that this is your First Amendment right.
Yep.
I'm out here doing the same thing, exercising that right.
Yep.
There are not very many countries in the world that we can do.
And it could go away by next week the way it's rolling.
You know,
And we
well,
can agree to
well,
that.
yeah, when we talk about fascism, and that's why I asked, because I understand that you feel some individual rights are being infringed on. I think that no matter who is president, we're going to feel that there's some infringement somewhere, right? Like, we're not always going to get that satisfaction with everything being cool.
Your children can go to school and play with their classmates and make relationships, unknowing if their friend will show up to school again. We're out of school right now, so this is an irrelevant situation.
Yeah, you're talking about immigration, right? Yeah.
My family's immigrants. I have a partial family that came and settled.
Yeah.
I have family who were on these lands.
Yeah.
White people never came into the picture.
Yeah, my family came here in the 1700s.
It's been whitewashed.
Yeah.
Been stripped.
Yeah.
And the things that my children are learning are very different.
So then what is your, and you don't have to give me some elaborate answer per se, but what is your general fix? I mean, what is the general fix?
There's no general fix. We have to
Okay.
tackle all these issues separately.
Okay.
We have to listen to the people it affects. Because a right wingist is going to have a very different political stance than someone who has actually faced persecution, who has actually had their life affected, who has had their rights taken.
Yeah.
You're talking to someone who helped establish the first Starbucks unit here.
Yeah. My wife actually worked for Starbucks here for a couple of years.
Okay, what is that?
You know charity?
Charity, you said?
Charity?
Yellowstone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my wife.
Okay.
Yeah, and the store went union actually right after she stopped working there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I helped with the first store because I worked at that store for 8 years. I worked at Starbucks for 8 years. I've been bargaining in person with a multi-billion-dollar company. So
good luck with that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because people in government are benefiting from unions not being successful right now. So, and these people, we're only fighting for healthcare. We're fighting for a livable wage. We're not wanting to have to worry about losing a job because we're ill and sick. We're not so worried about losing our job because children and things. I come from someone in a household.
I kind of feel like most of us have those. Don't we? Most of us have those privileges already. You don't think that we did?
I think that there are people here in
we have to work for it though.
making less than $12 an hour. You have janitors in this city at Orp Elementary.
Yeah.
One janitor for 53 rooms.
Yeah.
You think our children are going to be safe in these classrooms?
Yeah.
It is easier for someone to go up to a gun and go shoot up our schools than it is to come into this country legally and peacefully in the way that they want us to.
Yeah.
If you're at this class, then this class, then this class, these people will struggle more than this will ever do. And when you're born into this, how can someone born into this come speak to me and hear my testimony?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
it's not going to happen.
So you
it benefits them. They come in and they take the people.
So you agree that immigration should be legal.
I think people
we
should come to this country. This is the only country in the world that we are immigrants. We are the only country that you can come from anywhere in the world and you become American.
Right. I agree.
You don't go from American and go to South Africa and become South African. You don't go to Europe and go to Italy or any country.
Yeah.
You come here, you're American.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what flag you're waving.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. For freedom from choice. We came here knowing that we had rights to protect us. People in Palestine don't have those rights.
Oh no, they don't.
People in Baghdad, Iraq, Iran.
I have 6 employees in Pakistan.
There are countries that have more paternity leave than us.
Oh sure.
I went for 6 weeks and had to save up sick time to make it 8 weeks. And then I went in front of a multi-billion-dollar company and pointed out this bullshit.
Yeah.
And now Starbucks, a multi-billion-dollar company, has parental leave for all employees. It doesn't matter if you're union.
Yeah.
That's the kind of change that the people in Calgary need to fight for.
Yeah. For you.
No! There are mothers all over this place.
Yeah.
There are fathers who are single fathers who also share.
Yeah.
There are people who don't know where their children's going to be so that they can go work a job. People try to make ends meet.
Yeah.
You need 4 incomes to even rent out here.
It's crazy.
Yes. Why do our people need to work 2, 3, 4 to make ends meet? There's no pursuit of happiness now. It's easy for someone who has a secure pension to be like, well, I don't see it. It doesn't affect me. I started out in McDonald's fast food. I have worked in a Taco John's. I've worked at Starbucks. I've worked in daycares. And now I help a pain clinic with no drugs and no stimulants because I want to help my community and there's lots of pain because our medical system doesn't help those people. They're just a number.
I agree with you. We need to be better at treating root problems. What government does a lot of is treating the symptoms. Right? Symptoms. Maybe it's the crime. Maybe it's the abortion. Maybe it's the addiction.
The elaborate parade that's going on today across the country.
You need to understand, though, that it's also the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army.
That is not how it's being presented.
Which is
none of my children know how to know that.
Well,
you know what they know? They know Trump's birthday is today.
I know. I recognize that, but Trump didn't choose his birthday. Today is a very important day in our history. Our armed forces, the U.S. Army, is 250 years old today. And
why did that army come to be?
You should celebrate.
We're protecting ourselves from.
Well, we're protecting you guys so you can do this.
We're protecting ourselves from you guys.
So no, you can do this.
We're protecting ourselves from you guys.
You get to do this because of that army. You understand that?
Yeah.
You get to do this because of that army.
I get to do this because women fought in the early 1900s to make sure that I didn't have to stay home while men get to go make vacations for me.
Well, and Wyoming is the champion.
Yeah, and they're the first to take it away. It doesn't affect me. You can walk into any doctor, and a doctor will look you in the eyes and take you seriously. I walked in with my child who was having life-altering effects at 7 months old, and because I was a teen mother and single, I was not viewed as someone who had knowledge, or someone whose concerns mattered, or, oh, it's just this. Give her this juice.
I'm sorry you went through that.
She's 10 years old and we're in a better spot.
That's not how it should be.
It should be. But you know who has a worse time than me? African American mothers, Latino mothers, people who don't look like this. They have an even worse time. And now they have to be going to the doctor to take care of their children because they might not get health protection. And then what happens? Have you ever talked to someone in the system?
Yeah. In fact, I know that a lot of these folks that are being deported are choosing to take their kids with them.
There's also senior citizens being deported against them.
That's because they're kids. They were born here, so they're.
And that makes it right.
Well, no. So you need to understand they're given the option. Your kids can stay here, because
People
they're citizens.
what's happening.
They're taking
They're
their
having
kids.
these conversations.
No, they're not.
Letting them off the streets, and they are not being.
Yeah, they're taking their. They're allowed to. They can say, hey, you can deport with your kids or you can deport without your kids because your kids are U.S. citizens to your point.
You came from where again? You said
Southern California.
North California.
Southern California.
Before California. Where did your family come from?
We grew up Germany.
Germany.
1700s. Yeah.
1700s. Yeah. So they didn't have field per se.
Oh no.
Per se. So you have that luxury.
We all have a lot of luxury.
That luxury. There are people still trying to get in.
Let's fight for them. We can do that. We can fight for them.
Let's run up here instead of doing the right to.
LA County has 1 million illegal immigrants.
Yeah, you know, it's on the border.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we stole this land.
I've been to Mexico about 50 years, 60 years.
You and Mexico?
Yeah. I've been to Mexican prison. I didn't go for pleasure. I went to help.
People can't cross the border and come back.
I went to help people.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know why they're coming. I understand that. But there's a right way and wrong way to do that, or you lose your culture. You lose your
So tell me
society.
what the wrong way is.
The wrong way is to not come here legally. The way
So tell me what the wrong way is. What's the legal part of it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What is the illegal part of it?
It's not legal to walk across our border and enjoy our benefits.
Because anytime I had to sign up for SNAP, Quick,
Oh,
Medicaid,
man.
I had to have X, Y, and Z. And you have to have X, Y, and Z to even apply for X, Y, and Z.
I know.
And guess
You
what?
do. They
I
don't.
can't go to the DMV and go get a driver's license without having to deal with all these steps because
I know.
and my ID do not match.
Yeah.
So how many people who are not white do you think?
Well, in LA County, they can go in and just get those benefits.
I'm talking about Laramie County right now.
Yeah, they're not going to get those benefits here. That's the way it should be. They need to earn those benefits.
So what's earning those benefits?
You and I,
because I've always lived behind the poverty line.
You and I have earned those benefits. We go to work every day.
I worked my entire life. I grew up on a ranch, and I've worked since I was 8 years old. Have you driven a truck since you were 8 years old?
Actually, I started driving trucks when I was 12.
12.
Yeah, I started.
I'm a badass bitch.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is my family came as immigrants, and they were able to obtain land in Nebraska and Canada because we had to come over in multiple ways.
Yeah.
How do I know that those people came here legally?
That's not. You and I don't. You and I are not aware of those things.
So, because my government doesn't know if my people came in legally, what makes me legal? Because I was born in this.
Birthright citizenship.
Okay, the birthright citizenship, even though if parents are illegal, there are parents that are illegal that have the children while they're here.
Yeah, well, did you know that I think there's only 1 or 2 other countries in the world that honor birthright citizenship?
Yeah.
Most countries in Europe, both the mother and the father have to be natively from that country for that child to be a citizen.
And we ran from those people, didn't we?
For that child to be a
Get away
citizen.
from those people to create something better. My oldest daughter, her aunt, went to school to be an English teacher, to speak and learn and teach English and Spanish.
Yeah.
She lived in Mexico.
Yeah.
She found the love of her life and had a baby there. And you know what the U.S. did? Gave them dual citizenship. Why?
Because they're citizens.
Because she wasn't a citizen.
Right. Yeah.
And they still have to work out.
Well, there's a reason that very few countries do that because it destroys the fabric of a country when you do that.
I'm watching it, front row seats.
Yeah. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. We can talk all day, but
How you doing? Cool. All right, take care. Where? Okay. I'm Joseph. We're running for governor. Okay.
Oh, man.
Let's got to go. Hey,
I was hanging out over there most of the time. Yeah. So what's going on today, guys?
Guys, look at George Soros and what's his name?
Yeah. Okay. So what are you kind of protesting with these guys?
Just letting him know. Okay.
I mean, there's been a lot of folks over here, but it's like we're not too worried about it here in Wyoming, right?
We better start worrying about it.
I know. So, do you guys? You mentioned that you guys maybe had some. You have some questions for me?
Not at the moment. You're running for the primary?
I'll be running for governor next year. Yeah. This is a lot of fun.
All right. Run!
Oh, he's not happy.
Oh, man, I missed. He's not the one that told us. He's not the one.
Oh yeah.
Not the one that told us. You got called earlier.
Got it. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys didn't have any questions?
Not at the moment. As it stands, you got my phone.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Did you give him my card? Yeah. All right. Thank you. Suzanne.
What I've seen on.
Oh, so you are following me up Facebook?
Well, I'm
Okay,
good.
good. You got my card. Okay. Yeah. You know what? This isn't really productive, right? What I want to see, and the reason I've been over there, I want to hear what's going on. I want to hear where these people's hearts are, because I'm willing to listen. It doesn't mean I'm going to agree with everything that they,
Right.
that their ideology, right? Their ideology. But I think we could stop a lot of this if someone would just listen and go, you know what? We hear you. By the way, I'm the first person to go, I hear you. That doesn't mean I agree with you.
Right.
I've always been a conservative my whole life, so I'm not going to agree with a lot of what's going on over there. But a lot of these folks are like, oh, you're at least talking to us.
Right.
You're having a conversation with us.
I actually have had a few good ones.
And that can make the difference, because we're just so polarized. I mean, there's a lot over there that's just things that they believe that it's just simply not truth.
Right.
But if we could give them the truth in a way that's loving and kind and not obtrusive, I'm not over there screaming at people. I'm over there shaking hands and saying, what are you worried about today? Why are you here? Why are you protesting? A lot of times they can't really articulate, like, well, what has Trump done as a king? And all
They haven't given me any answers yet.
it's good conversation. It's hard to get an actual answer for that. And that's because, I mean, their rights are for the most part not being infringed. They're over there doing what they're allowed to do in their First Amendment rights. So,
yes.
No, but, it's really nice to meet you guys. Casey, did you get cards to everybody over here?
Not everybody, but
Do you need some more?
I have some.
Okay.
I'll check it out
cool.
on Facebook and follow.
Yeah, check me out. Follow me. Yeah, we're doing it. Nice to meet you guys. Take care.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph.
Yeah, take care. Good luck. Hi, Matthew. How you doing? I'm live streaming, so see you in a little while. Let's go back over there, huh? It's more fun. Hey guys, I'm running for governor. Nice to meet you guys. It's your last name, Joseph Kibler. I'm for governor. I also want to here because I want to hear what they're beefing. So that's what I'm doing. Obviously, support values. I gotta be able to talk to these folks. Exactly. That's not what we're not doing that, right? Not having a conversation.
Fun being a guy.
Yeah. So I'm over there having conversations with them because I want to see real. I want to see what they're doing. Yeah, take care of you guys. Have a good day. Let's go back talking.
Okay. No kings, no crowns.
This is working?
No kings, no crowns.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, you found a bench. That's nice.
Oh, you need a safety
No, I'm not going to take your seat. I'm Joseph. I'm actually running for governor next year.
Okay.
And I want to hear from you guys. What brings you over here?
I think, hey, make sure the Constitution is followed.
Okay. And I see your hat, sir.
Yeah.
You served in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. And you feel like that Constitution that you fought for is being
Totally in jeopardy.
in jeopardy. What aspects of that do you think?
Well, the first
in jeopardy.
the amendment's making out, which is that nice to see.
Sure.
You know, to see everybody
What-
sat down.
Yeah. What voices do you think are being silenced in the First Amendment?
Well, I don't basically being silenced tonight. More than beer. I mean, people speaking beer. And people picked up, they don't have a chance to sit down and have a hearing. You know, and I'm really against hearing prisons. Whether it's for foreigners or whether it's for anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, definitely against that.
For sure. So, but what is your thought about the 650,000 criminal illegal aliens that are in our country? How do we round these guys up that are criminals? Okay, I'm with you on what I hear what you're saying. But so, how do we round these guys up that are criminals? This flag that we fought for, that are hurting U.S. citizens, right? They're hurting. So how do we round them up without ICE, like without knocking on doors? How do we round them up?
Well, see, I think your idea of how many people of course, we're in Wyoming, so we don't have the downtown New York stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I think the rapid rate of the not hearing stuff, people, when you get people who've got 30 years in this country, and you're throwing them in a van and getting rid of them.
Yeah.
No, nobody's against taking care of illegals, whether it's illegals or whether it's regular citizens.
Yeah.
You know, they all need to be taken care of. We have rules of law. Yeah.
Sure, we do.
People should be.
Do those rules of law apply to people that are not here legally, though?
Yes. To me, they do.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's your personal opinion. Those.
Yeah.
So what do we do with the criminal element? Because you know what, we shouldn't be deporting citizens. I agree with that. That's not something that should be happening. I think there's some things we can agree on. But in order to get these criminals out, because by the way, I'm not making up the numbers. That comes from the DOJ, the Department of Justice. They say there's 650,000 guys and gals in this country that are here that have committed crime.
Well, see, you know what? Arms are crime too.
Yeah.
When you define a crime, what is a crime?
The DOJ does. The DOJ Department of Justice website does lay that out. Like, you know, it does lay it out. These numbers are from before Trump. Okay, so
they've been around a long time.
These numbers are not
bullshit numbers.
You're getting
Well, yeah. No,
Where in the hell are you it's just that bullshit number anymore. And I mean, all over the country, we don't have we don't have any crime in anybody.
actually comes from the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice.
And we to say those things.
These numbers are before Trump. These
I am
numbers were
no
from the
longer
Biden
Republican.
I got before Biden too.
Yeah, before.
You can't say it was just Biden because it's been a problem for a long time.
Well, it's not been a problem. It's been there maybe, but not a problem.
We don't need your campaigning here. We don't need your campaigning here.
I'm not campaigning.
We don't need your campaigning here. We don't need your campaigning here. Move on. Move on.
You're for First Amendment rights, right?
You're campaigning. Move on. You're campaigning. Move on.
If your intention is to campaign, go do it.
Move on. Yeah, you are. That's what you said you did. That's what you said you were going to do. Was come here and talk about your stupid governorship. Right. So no campaigning. No campaigning. No campaigning. Well, I'm going to keep screaming until you leave. Well, don't talk to him. He's not worth talking to. He's not worth talking to. He's not worth talking to.
What are you worried about?
He's not worth talking to.
Right on, right on.
Freedom people. Don't talk to him. Don't talk to him. Ignore him. Ignore him. That's our First Amendment right as well, is to ignore him. What do you need? It is.
Yeah.
But you're not campaigning. So don't. So don't.
I'm not. I'm talking to people.
You're campaigning. You're running for governor. You're campaigning.
Free speech! Anti-free speech!
Okay. That was fun.
Anti-PBS! Anti-NPR! He's anti-PBS!
Yeah, there you go. Freedom Caucus? Are you Freedom Caucus?
I am not, sir.
Oh, yeah. Are you for the Constitution?
I'm actually not.
Are you for the Constitution?
I'm not a politician, sir.
You're running for governor, idiot.
Prove it. Prove it.
What would you like me to do?
Hey, prove it. Whatever you want to talk about.
Talk to him.
I don't care. Prove it.
He is running for governor. This is not a political rally.
No, I don't care about talking.
This is not a political rally. We don't need him around here.
Second
This is not a political rally.
Let's talk.
No,
Kill-
leave.
kill-
Leave. This is not a political rally. Leave. Leave. This is not a political rally.
Okay.
Leave. Leave.
What's the
This is
Second
not a
Amendment
political
say?
rally. Leave. Leave. This is not a political rally. This is a
It's
rally.
not being infringed. You're building your with your ass.
There's no politics here.
The right to go on.
This is not time for politics.
Fine. That's
Get out of here.
It's not the time for politics, but it's almost there.
all the way down to here. What about all this other part? A well-regulated militia. What's a well-regulated militia? What's a well-regulated militia?
It's like the army, the military, it's like that.
No, this is all one statement. A well-regulated militia being necessary to secure the state. What's a free state?
Wyoming is the first thing.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not the difference between the state of ice and the state of water, the state of gas? What does state mean?
You're out here, son.
What's the right of the people to bear arms? To bear arms for?
Yeah, tell not.
To use in a well-regulated militia. So you can have and keep arms if you're in a well-regulated militia. What well-regulated militia are you in? I'm not in a well-regulated militia right now, but I'm a veteran.
Thank you for your.
And you know where they kept our guns? They didn't let us keep them. They kept them in an armory.
I know.
So if people want to keep their guns in an armory where they're nice and safe, I got no problem with people owning guns. But they want to keep it home with them. But they're not in the well-regulated militia.
That's not the traditional interpretation.
That's what it says to me. What's well-regulated militia? Army, Navy, Air Force,
Yeah.
No,
you're not.
we don't.
You're not wrong.
Private citizens, you know, they don't need to have guns. It is they can be in the army and keep their arms in the armory. Nice to see.
Yeah.
You know, it's like what happens in the regular army.
You're welcome to that, but that has never been the interpretation you're stuck in by any judicial or civil court.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about you and me here. You're listening to me, and I'm listening to you. This is what I'm talking about right here.
Right? Not people to their heart. I have a question for you because you came up to me and you said stop killing the children. Right? That's what you said. So Stop killing the children. Slow children. So what children are being killed in America right now? You know that every single one of the school shootings was done by someone who had a history of psychotic and mental episodes.
Okay, so do something about it.
Right? No, I agree.
Is it a mental health issue or is it a gun issue?
No, no.
It's not an either or situation.
Hold on a second, though.
Both.
Hold on a second, though. How is it you can get 200,000 people at a gun show all carrying guns and not a gun goes on?
I don't know because I don't go to gun
Because
shows.
gun owners are
I
responsible.
don't own a gun.
Gun owners are responsible. They are. Go look at. I challenge you. You
So
said
all of the people that kill people that are gun owners, that's not all.
you said this was your issue. I want you to go look at the psychology of every single school shooter in the last 20 years.
Oh, I listen to the radio in the morning. What's his name? Glenn Woods, and he says guns or knives or rope or cars. It doesn't matter what the tool is. It's a mental health issue. So what's being done about mental health issues? It's just okay. Oh, wait a minute. They're taking away all the funding for mental health. So there you go.
Evil people are always going to do evil things. We know that, right? Like, evil people are always going to do evil things. I got a good friend who lives in the UK. They don't have guns. They don't have guns.
Sure they do. Sure they do.
Cars and knives. So Europe is like the knife capital of the world because they don't have guns. Evil people are always going to do evil things. My book is something about mental health. That's something we need to look at.
You live in Wyoming, right?
I can't look at
Okay. Are you aware that the sun converts cholesterol into vitamin D?
Absolutely.
Do you know all about that?
Of course I do.
So why is it that common knowledge? Everybody lives in Wyoming. All of the comments about anyways,
That's why
tell me your name again. Take that.
I actually own my own company for about 2 years. I read something. The first I spent my life. I'm not I want to hear.
And there's another instigator right there. Don't you go out there. He has to sit down. Thank you for your time. My name's Will. If I was still here,
Take care. So Earl just asked me to prove it that I'd be a governor for the people. Well, that's why I'm here, right? Right? I'm here because I want to hear what these people have to say. And it doesn't mean that I'll agree with them all the time, but it does mean that I will listen. Because I think that listening is what we're missing in so much of government, so much of politics these days. And so with that, I will listen to any one of these people. I will hear them. That doesn't mean I'll agree, and I don't have to. I won't agree with what most of these people have to say. But what I will do is I will listen. And as your governor, Wyoming, I will listen to what people have to say. And I think I guess this shindig is about ready to wrap up. So we should probably wrap up the live stream. I want to say thanks to my great campaign team that was here with me today to record this video. If you have questions or comments for me and you're here in Wyoming, we met a lot of people here today that do not live in Wyoming. They're not from Wyoming. They don't represent Wyoming. But if you're from Wyoming and you want representation, I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email, send me a message. And with that, I think we'll probably go ahead and sign this thing off. I think is there an end stream button there? I think there is. It's like an orange button.